So I want you to think about providing multiple means of representation as how are the ways that your content is represented. All of us differ in the ways that we comprehend information that's presented. And think about our learning experiences. If you notice, we're doing some screen recordings, we're doing some video, we're doing some podcasts, we have blog posts that you can use assistive technology to read. So all kinds of things. We're clarifying symbols and vocabulary because options for representation matter. There is more than one way to do something. Just like there is more than one way to read, there's more than one way to write. I want you to think about the overarching theme of universal design for learning, which is clear goal, but flexible means. So let's dig into our guidelines. You're going to provide options for perception. So understanding, so giving that information through different modalities, whether it's visual, hearing, touch, braille, tactile. Allows for adjustability, so think about our course in Brightspace. You can customize the font, represent things in different ways. Thinking about flexible materials to customize displays of information, providing some alternatives for auditory. If you notice, there is a closed caption track, there are transcripts, so we have options, so it's not just sounds and voice, there's visual, there's auditory, there's text-based, and then the alternatives for visual image, so not just images and text. So some of these checkpoints, when you drill down, it gives you some guidelines on descriptions. When you're designing learning experience, this is where accessibility comes into play. And then some options here providing access to text-to-speech software. So there's different technologies that can help, and there's different guideline points that can help. So looking at customizing the display gives different options here. And then there's some more checkpoints here for auditory and visual under perception. Ask yourself, which ones are you doing or which ones do you need more support in? As we're navigating this course, you'll be doing a scavenger hunt at the end that's compiling all of the things that connect and the things that don't and how you can improve on those. So keep that in mind. Looking at language and symbols, the checkpoints are clarifying vocabulary. So you might see some text or some online text that they might have vocabulary words that are bold, and you can click on that or you could hover over it and a window will appear and there's the definition that can be read to you. And then the symbols, the numbers. So thinking about math, those mathematical symbols, having a bank of what those symbols mean that's easily accessible to learners helps them with recall, helps with executive functioning, and helps to represent that information in a slightly different manner. Keeping the syntax and structure explicit, so highlighting structural relations, making connections to prior knowledge, and that's what we're doing here. We're building on things you already know that connect, things that already exist that align with the UDL guidelines that connect to that. Looking at decoding text, mathematical notation and symbols. So there's all different ones in the language and symbols checkpoints here. Decoding of text, understanding across language, thinking about using translation tools, descriptions, different movement to support learning, but also being mindful of the cultural relevancy too of that understanding. Some of the translation apps are good, but they don't catch the nuance of culture and that variability of that culture. And then using graphics, activities, and videos. So we're using multiple media to illustrate these points and to show what the UDL guidelines look like beyond just a paper-based or an online book portal, so that you can actually navigate through these on your own and see some different checkpoints here and the different strategies and tools that help you understand those checkpoints a little bit better. So I hope that as you're navigating week 4 with the discussions and the assignments, you are able to better understand the different ways that you can provide multiple means of representation to learners in your setting.